Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Oh, my browser probably did a browser cache on the ARCS file. Doesn't affect us too much, actually. Does it? No, because our problem is, well, I mean, it's the symptom of a situation. Is that if we go to look 2 days back, the time window we get is the time window for the base map. So I've kind of felt the time model is bad for a while, and this is finally something that kind of hit my personal usage pretty hard. Because there's really no way to look at this period uh, as a consistent thing with the map doing its stuff in the background. Oh, I probably need to do more exclusions. Because I renamed some stuff. Uh, Vim. And to the extent you can allow project-specific stuff, it's caution, caution. This is a script. Anything we put a file here, they could just run arbitrary commands. So I've always been a little bit nervous about that. Well, I got there. So the crux of the problem right now base layer by time is that when we anytime we pick a layer, we check to see if we're currently in the right time window for this thing. So actually, yeah, that's assumed that. Current time, sure. But anytime we update our time, we also go check if we have an appropriate. We check to see if the base layer needs to be updated. Because if we were viewing time life data that crossed over an arc, you'd want that background to change. But calling that will always reset the time range to be the time range of the base map. So we need a better way to do that. Which means that this can't really by itself reset our time. Our time range. So there are particular times when we are going to want to set a time range. If we are not doing life data, and we just reload on some particular moment. Oh, this was during the unbounded arc. Then we want this to in fact be... Oh, this is not quite to the end of it. To be the start of the arc. So that we can, and then just kind of the most reasonable thing to do if you want to be looking for just, if you're on just the map and you want to see just the map. So I guess one answer is look at it if life data is up. And that could tell you what time range you need. That's an interesting little bit there. Oh, actually, yeah. Dug Barrel Cactus is a new item. I don't have an image for that. Or a size or anything. Although I may have to... I may have to go do World Gen with my current data so it's consistent with the old Jungle Age map. Because that does change World Gen parameters. So I might have to prioritize that. So that I can get back to a data update. Although at some point I'm going to have to solve different World Gen parameters. Yeah, that's... Because I won't really be able to use that until we can do a data match on it. Which means I need, well, I'll probably need one version of sprites. But I might need multiple versions of spawn rate data. Sprites, dimensions. I think it's all in the same file right now. Okay. Set available times. Handle happens. And we set data layer. And at some point, it's going to happen to have. There's going to be some mechanism to have it happen appropriately for biomes or arcs. Maybe, So the default... Actually, I'm not sure what the mode is right now. Probably default to arc. So this is not properly representative of the status. I mean, there's a couple ways to represent this. So one of the things I was thinking about in terms of straightening out time model is moving back a bit to the idea that time is in the Elm model, because that is just a definite thing, and you still have to worry about how you update it. But then you have very definite set of events where that updates. And you could sort of back this up to events too. But we cannot we cannot both be having the base layer changing in response to time and having base layer updates set the available times. So I'm probably going to have to do a separate arc detection loop when we do that. So right now we've got things hooked up where this will allow you to change maps. So that comes through from set current time to set base layer. Which sets the appropriate time such that if there was anything to look at here, you would be able to look at it. That also works for this one. Ooh, that actually... It's all the individual animations in there. Also a little bit scary from a download perspective. And that's still pretty large relative to this stuff. Okay. So I've been biasing things towards that mode of operation there. But then if I want to see this stuff, it jumps me... Did I even update the map properly? Maybe it did. Well, this must be the very end of that arc, but it will hit the end of this, and then that'll be the end of time. And I don't think it will be able to continue playing up to the end of this actual life data. Yeah, so we hit the end of that. Rift comes back. It's really for the next arc, but just it's right at that time. You do a bit of a time update. It almost feels like we've got two. Data layers going on? Yeah, something actually seems messed up there. Anyway. If I take this time set out of here, then I need to make sure I'm setting that anywhere I would be actually doing more of a time reset. Ooh, okay. So we've got set map time. So like that's probably reasonable to do it. Current time. Arc list is going to be more of a full reset. Yeah, so we add this and then... Wait. Set data layers. Is doing it twice. We call set data layers from multiple places? No. Okay, so that was unnecessary. Focus. Okay, so there's setting the current time and picking the base map. And then some of these will also need to do some of this stuff. I don't think you need the map. Reason was just for debugging, which maybe we still want. And then all this goes away. However, now we have to, in some places and not others, call this function. So that's set data layers. That's not going to set arc range. So I have two sites of set map time. Actually, this, I need to be thinking more about how it flowed, but this is part of understanding that. Set, no, I kind of want to set map time, just do everything, but... I should make sure it's at the same time. If we set, if we do something in the Elm side that manipulates time, all right, so I think these might come down arc list. Maybe... not necessarily set current time. Focus. So sometimes a common way to focus is to look at recent lives sort of in the backdrop of the recent life data and kind of see what towns we're in and such. That is going to jump to that time. Yeah, if you pulled a historical life. So that, Yeah, set map time might imply time dimension set current time. Those are some of the things I have to think about. Update tiles is one of the places we specifically need to exclude this from. Data is doing its own set range. Current time is hairy because I can see that operating within any existing thing, but if we did change the base map and we weren't viewing life data, yeah, so this is where I kind of want to move it up to Elm, where I just have a model of everything. Alright, so we went way... Does it solve my immediate problem here? Uh, 826. So I probably don't set current time on set data layers. Because it used to be you set the time range and it would just be the start of that. So I might need my own set time function that will... Well, no, that's going to be if we set data. Okay, that might actually... Nope, we're... Oh, but it's the beginning of the range. Okay, so it was right before change. still have a lot of this. So I need to play this. And then we go back in the box. And we have a lot of resets. Oh, time not available. Oh, okay. So we've got a problem somewhere there. This is an actual exception in Elm, but it's a decode error expecting an int. Oh, ACK probably isn't excluding all the data files. Well, that window's dead. And what we need to do is set source. Okay, so that's an event it's complaining about. And error is a little bit too generic of a message. So I probably have to do some stuff with the time events to try and figure out where that's coming from. I wish you could see the value object. App.ports.send. So this looks like it's probably a time load event. Nan. How do you get a Nan? I guess that means it just hit the end? I'm surprised I never hit that condition before. Is it possible I'm putting a Nan into the array? I guess I also want to watch. Are we ever perhaps sending something funny back? Oh. Now we actually need the function command, which has message. Oh. Okay, there was no message in here that did that. Although maybe I'm setting a bad range? Okay, that's both of the places we can do that. Okay, there was no set available times anywhere near that. This was all set to valid. So I guess we just have to check for Nan, because that's just a thing that can happen. How do you do... Okay. Is NAN... Anim overlay update tiles. Who are you? Anim overlay. Actually, that's a point overlay. Now, arguably, maybe you want to draw nothing in that case. I'm surprised I never saw this before. And now it's undefined. Wonderful. Oh, Nan was probably the result of doing undefined divided by 1,000. I'm not using update tiles in different ways, am I? No, just from time load. That's it. Pre-check. Okay, so it's still putting me into time unavailable, though. So something is actually... I wonder if it doesn't like being squished up like this? I don't use that very often. Maybe I didn't wait for it to load. Time not available. So we check. We added a set current time. Was that in set data layers? The min should have been fine. Oh. Yeah, that is a problem, actually. Because that was t times 1,000, so you have to be this. That was milliseconds. That was based on arrangement going by 1,000. Okay, so I don't know if any of my other checks are actually useful. Because I sure as heck weren't fixing anything. What? Okay, so there was a set current, or is not listed as a change to set current time there. Although maybe there's more places that, yeah, that were expecting to do that. So I almost feel like I need to like back up and think about what are the intents for doing these various things. We didn't do our double set. Set data layers. That seems like it's more of a set current time thing. All right. All right, we extracted a function. We added some debugging. All right, was this a pre-existing problem? Oh, well, kind of no, because you couldn't actually do this before. So we need to... Well, I know I need to separate this from the base layer set. Whatever else happens, that has to happen in some form. Uh, no, we actually do need this entire loop. We don't need that. Might need that. Don't need that. That might be useful. There is no else case. And then this doesn't happen. Okay, there's the reason, we had the reason that base labor time was called. There is something else going on there that uses that. Now, anywhere we called base layer by time, which should only be one place now. We called set map time. Current time. I might have to separate intents here. Because that could either be a big jump, in which case you'd need to reset it, or it could be a little scrub within the current view, in which case you wouldn't want to reset it. So data layer would not do this. I think we determined that set data layers already calls this. Focus on a life. Probably. This is where I just kind of need to maybe redo everything. This is like so specific and fiddly. Okay, definitely not from there, definitely not from there. Set data layers, definitely not from there. And that's a wrap. So just extracting that. Causes us to get an invalid time. Oh, right, this actually doesn't directly hit. Anything coming from that end? I know there was a place where like added or removed a set time. Oh, that may have not. What the? Set available times. So you can't print this entire array. It's huge, which is one of the things I want to fix. Which that's going to be like a replace the whole time plugin thing. I guess. Okay, so every time that can happen. Well, it usually happens during dragging, but. Set current time. This is going to be arcs again. We can do this from current time. We can do this from arc list. We can do this from begin playback. Oh, is that one actually in milliseconds? This is from focused. We shouldn't be hitting right now. Oh, that was where I added a set current time before. Okay, let's go ahead and any time load checking right now. So it's when I go off the end. It wasn't any kind of message. I mean, these are the available times, so it should have only been in that range. And then we get a nan. Now, yeah, something's actually... Because you can do that. Then you get near the end. I mean, is it possible there's one bad value in the time array? Unfortunately, it's huge. So the previous situation was, well, this used to work before we did any arc range stuff. Previously, we would only set the range based on the life data, and that seemed to work fine. It's not any place that I set. Well, it's not the bounds of the range, and it's not setting the current time. I do not appear to be giving it bad data. That, well, at least any place I can easily find. Time loading, time load time. I mean, it's just indexes. There's all this loading management that I never, because it doesn't really work well with tiled layers. They haven't really implemented. Default current time. Nearest now. The first index greater than the time. Return to the previous. If we seeked to a time before the first time, it would back up to -1. Parse time expression. Oh, so when you set range, it tries to reset current time. I mean, I don't understand why dragging it is putting it into an invalid state. If it's a string, let's just add it. Goes through and sorts it again. There's all the modes. Available times changed. Oh, man. If I could understand... That's why I had my volume up earlier. Okay, there's a fire time load. There's an on time load. On. It's the player, I guess. Time loading. Okay, new time index loaded. For that matter. Base layer on load. That's specific to the WMS layer. Actually, WMS is a tile, doesn't it? New layer on load is... WMS layer again. New time index loaded. That's time dimension. On new time loading, this looks like it's time dimension dot layer. Which we're not using. Base layer, back to WMS. So there's only one place that's actually sort of like in the library. Well, if it's -1, we'll do that. Loading time index. Oh, the index that's loading, I guess. Console.log. Oh. Okay, so new time index became nan. Like right away. Or loading time index. Is there a constant for nan? Okay. Is constant for nan greater than -1? No. Unsync layer load equals -1. New index. Set current time index. Lower limit, new index, upper limit. Probably wouldn't be less than 0. Oh. Okay, set current time index nan. So we've got 2 places here. Before and after doing a range check. Okay, so it's getting called with an nan. Next time. Oh, does I default to play? So we need to know where we're coming from. So I think what we need to do is actually switch over here. If is nan I don't really care. I just need a line there. Yep. Paused on breakpoint. Slider time value changed. Just to pass through. Create slider time. Call stack, scope, value is nan. So this is coming from the DOM? Hmm. I'm not really using this segment right now. Okay, this is like it's probably a general purpose fire. Like leaflet event. Yeah, evented. Finish drag. Zero, zero. Negative 2, 1. I mean, this is like a very low-level thing to be having this kind of error. Add pointer end. Distance 2. Zero, 0 to negative 2, 1. Last target null. Fire when drag ends. This seems to imply, well, that's distance. Still leaflet. But this is not talking about distance. This is talking about target.getValue. Wait, you're not a DOM element. I don't think. Source target target. Drag start type. You're a thing that has an element, but you are not an element. Well, you do have a get value. Which I can't see the source of. Oh wait, well, it says knob on drag end. Does that mean it's knob? Sounds like it could be. A knob is a l.ui.knob, which is it's a draggable. Get value. I don't have a good way to back into this when things happen. Okay, so knob is the thing that has a get value. It has an adjust value, which is a min and a max, and a whole bunch of stuff. It has a to value. There's a bunch of get positions. Get position of this dot element dot x. So somewhere out of all this mess, we get an AND. But we're going to be executing this code a lot. So you have to have some sort of trigger in there. I guess. Well, are we still... How good are watch expressions? So set current time index. We got new index. That's just a pass through. That's calling get value. e.target.getValue is nan. e.target.getPosition is 0. Which, I mean, is, we believe is 0. Oh! Where are you? Get projection coefficient. This dot options dot range min. Range min 0. Okay, so those are going to be indexes. So the sad thing is the underlying slider would handle just a range of times just fine. Get projection coefficient. Infinity. All right, this thought options. Excuse me? Range max minus range min. This container. Divided by offset. That'll do it. Oh, but it's an OR, so that should skip a 0 there. Is that empty string? So why is our container going to size 0? So I guess the idea here is that they are trying to stay dynamically updated relative to the width of our container here. Which, if we have this thing, and I don't know why this, because this definitely happened when we changed around our range stuff. To not be constantly resetting our range based on arc, but we are still changing base map. Is it possible there's like some sort of relayout when we get to no arc defined? All right. Actually, there's gonna be nothing there. So this is legitimately invalidate. Set available times undefined, undefined. Yeah, so that's a problem. We're probably gonna have to go back a couple hours here. Okay, well now it's very confused. It actually crashed something. Oh, yeah, that might have something. Okay, maybe it's only when changing. Okay, that's not saying map at all. Right, this is probably current time, which I wasn't sure about. But it was sometime early in the morning that we had a map change. It almost looks like life data. Or is that the objects behind there? That was a little bit weird. Oh! Right, because there was no... Maybe I disappeared this for a frame. Where do we... is it player? Stop start. No. Time dimension dot player. Time dimension control. Toggle animation controls. Base layer change. Change is greater than 0. Oh, yeah. If base layer... Well, it's another kind of base layer change. Wait. I think I forgot to remove these. Okay, so first of all, that's available. Okay, so for this is probably a current time update. I may have to have a separate message that specifically says we want to be in this mode. All right, well, if we do this, that will definitely set a range. And it will set it's automatically playing, which I'm not sure I was doing. Time not available. Uh... Can we... I should just... And that'll complain about unreachable code. Although maybe the add control is still like gonna like flicker it. Oh, something else. Okay, so that's what's changed. Okay, source. I think we're done with that. I don't know that I need any of the rest of this tracking now. Okay, in my file, I did do this extraction. There's just a lot of other debugging to clean up. Probably don't need the leaflet source. Set available times. We're probably doing stuff that isn't too spammy. I think I forgot to remove these. Because an animated is... I'm going to do that. Okay, so we need to know anytime we touch this. In which case I might want to remove some of the other stuff. Okay, remove, remove, remove. Static remove. Animated add. We're going through this stuff. We did get a burst of ads there. It looked like. So I may have to see if there is a way to test if it's added. And to not do that. But I replaced this with code that always added it. Maybe removing the toggle did something? Just because, like, something got removed, so it made it do a relayout? Wait. I'm not getting any layer updates now. Why would that do it? Admittedly, that means I'm not going to actually toggle. Oh, because I didn't. That's just putting the control on there. It's not actually setting the we're in animated mode flag. Elsewhere. So maybe there's actually a problem with some of the new layers. What will we need to do to change that initial state? Or at least to just never remove anything? Which actually, if we weren't changing those layers, that does kind of say it has something to do with layer changes. But not with like adding and removing these controls. I think these actually are defunct. All right, so previously I was looking at just going over that edge, we go into unknown territory. Time not available. What happens Wait, anim overlay. Okay, so that was all that stuff. Search overlay. There's your anim overlay. And so when we cross over into unknown time. Or into base layer unknown. So what's happening here? Let's start with current time. We can check this. Well, we think it's base layer by time. It's going to oh. That would have no animated or static layers, which would remove the time option. What function was I just in? Time. Oh, that works. Toggle animated controls. Map.each layer. No, because point layer should have anim and static. We weren't seeing any change there. It's like I need this to switch. Well, we had the everything on version. All right, I need to check myself. So right now we're somewhere around there. All right, we need to make sure we are in time mode. And when we cross that boundary, okay, so it's nothing to do with the controls themselves. It is not that we suddenly go remove things. So it must be that we're doing something. Well, I think I have every set range. Should be tagged. Every set current time is tagged in some way. So when we cross over there is a toggle animation controls there. This is going to be toggle animation controls based on map changes. Even though we sort of removed that. Although is that what was... Okay, something else is working for us here. Okay, definitely not that. Or at least not from here. So it's like it has something to do with the base layer change. But I can't... I mean, is it just like there's like a layout reset there? That causes it to become momentarily zero? Because, I mean, empirically it's not zero now. It's probably this thing. Can I get... Is that a computed property? You see, this is all CSS stuff. Yeah. Container. Where your container is the slider, and the slider is initialized on the knob. Slider bar, slider container, div slider, div slider. Now, isn't there... div slider. Okay, so it's fine now. Code a slider. I have the slider was displaying the error. Code a slider. After add CSS. I don't suppose. So first of all, February 9th. I probably have been doing it that long. I don't think I pulled in jQuery. Times from get capabilities. Printing behind tile layer. Always loads the last one. Unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to produce a reproducible test case for this. Because it's taking me this long to even hit it. I've got a lot of stuff going on. All right, well, for testing purposes here, it looked like they're picking 200 as their target width, which I mean maybe we need to get like initial width or something. Projection coefficient. Yeah, it needs the actual range. Just anywhere in that range. Well, no, that's okay. It's dragging. I wonder if it actually is taking... No, because that did change the behavior. But it's still sort of like aberrant behavior. Well, this is going to be spammy as heck. There's an infinity. Okay, so we still got an infinity. Oh, because the division is here. Oh, I removed my little hack. Maybe what I actually need to do, I don't think. Can you even type infinity? Oh, listen to the debugger you can. Yeah, not so much. Maybe 200 wasn't the right number? Because I am getting like a 0.52 and a 106. Oh. This is also a slider. Okay, that's only updating the 0.5. This apparently refreshes both of them. So that's the 106.6. But if, Is it using offset width anywhere else? No. Because it's still having trouble positioning the element. Update position. Can do that. The only thing I can think of is some sort of layout change from going from having base layers to not having base layers. And fixing that nan doesn't really fix the way it jumps around. How are you playing over this? Oh, it can play over it just fine. Yeah, so that suggests that it's a DOM issue of some sort. It's an annoying DOM issue. Uh, this might force me to write my own time control sooner than I wanted. All right, so that uncertainty is just kind of a blank base layer. Trying to figure out if there's any better way. But unfortunately, the size of the example we'd need for this would have to be of multiple time steps where over a couple of them you go from a map to a blank map. So I can fix the nan. I can't fix the knob jumping back. Because it's probably a element in a container that momentarily has zero width. Oh, this is a change of an actual layer. Can I find other examples? Okay, so all the prints have got this really backlogged. It is also a transition to uncertainty. But I would have to do time after this. I actually don't know how close we got. Oh. Okay, and that's... Yeah, so base map changes. But that... I'd swear I used to have that working. When would have I had that working? It would have been... and the problem is, that actually takes up my console. That would have been the last published version. Oh. Okay. Oh, no, we're kind of still at the same timestamp. Okay. It's bisect time, boys. Now, there may be some problems with intermediate version because I've changed data formats on things, but that hopefully won't get in the way. Get bisect start. Bisect good. Get checkout master. Get bisect bad. So that should have given me an intermediate position. Did I keep my time though? Okay, that doesn't even track over... I may not have had live update at this version. Nope. Maybe I didn't have time live update in this version. I may have not had this even doing map change, but I'd swear when I went back to my good, So this is unfortunately an invalid test. So I might have to restart bisect and flip this the other way. Go. Oh, because this is where it flipped to... One of these is where it flipped to time before versus time after. This is currently after. Well, this is just not working at all. Maybe I didn't have the live updates in here? Yeah, this appears to have not had live updates at all. There's some rift changes, but still in the original map. Oh, okay. So that's a bad. And I'm not sure about that one, that first switching point. All right, so you're after, we want to be here. Okay. So I didn't have a live map updating in this version. So yeah, we're going to that point of ambiguity. Or we didn't even do this. Whereabouts are we? Okay. So this was probably our first bisect, where we weren't sure. We are currently here. And this is a bisect bad on this. This was definitely not working. And then somewhere in this range, it wasn't even updating. Load images. Yeah, so that's all the animated map stuff. I redid set map time. Alright, so I think we decided this one was bad. Or is this the can't tell? Yeah, this is can't tell. Because I see it changing over the boundary in here, which is doing time set. But we've not added our time load update on this yet. Or on here we haven't. There's animation controls. So that just went in. And then we were able to put back in our sets on the tile updates. Why did I do that? Probably because I was calling update tiles directly from the time load event. So in all probability, I should put those on their own time load, because it's going to do it once for every time-dependent layer. So unfortunately, the thing that was broken, or the feature that's broken, is just simply not working in some intermediate versions. So I almost have to go back to like this first thing, flip it the other way, figure out where that thing broke or stopped updating, and then consider like everything in the middle because they don't have the exact commit. I don't suppose there's a don't know command. Uh, current version cannot be tested. Okay, so all right. Get. All right, so our determination was that our first stop cannot be tested. Let's see, so this is after. Maybe is Elm not updating properly? This is really being treated as before. Maybe this can't be tested either. Did I reload? Says it's after. Oh, maybe that was kind of broken there. Okay. I thought Yeah, I stashed that stuff. So that is testable. I just... That's weird. Maybe some intermediate stuff. But that was actually a testable revision. So this claims it's after. Okay, that is actually definitely bad. And this is one of the untestable ones. And that's a bad one. Okay, so after that... Okay, there's definitely a transition there, and this is not updating it. So our scrubbing was broken for a little bit. Make sure we're in time mode. First bad commit could be any of, because we skipped a few, so it was broken for a bit. Bisect good, bisect good, bisect bad. C7, C5. Or maybe it's any of these. A5. Okay, so we're down here currently. We're on 5E. 6-5. DC. Alright, so one of these three. So we're defining... We have both layers. Okay, so this is when we did start doing the control switching stuff. And this might be the thing that broke live updates of the base map. But this is actually how we were doing it before. And that was working. I gave you a name. May have been for debugging. I wish I knew where this was. Oh, hey, Tijinta. How's it going? My attempts to clean things up have been interrupted by a very hard to understand bug. It's apparently been around for a while. What were you working on today? And yeah, it seems like my raid alert's completely busted right now. I wonder if that's a Muxy thing. Yeah, I must have heard about that in Unix land. Toggle animated. Conditionally added time control, so it was on for a while. Anim overlay. Yeah, so the toggling process changed. And the thing that stopped this working is that I was having issues with feedback from this system. And there's a current time here. So that's a current time when setting available times on a per arc basis. Arc age remove layer. Wait, this is... We added it there and then removed it in the next one? I need to... Oh, I do need to refresh this. Okay. 4.4. So I actually need to look at this. But that was definitely a thing that got added there. Okay, so untestable, untestable. Toggle animation controls, toggle animation controls. Toggle animation controls. But I've largely eliminated that as a direct cause. Yeah, it must have been the same one. And, I put these back in. But we do have to do that somewhere. Ooh, how long was that bug around? That was actually a recent-ish... change, maybe? Change tracking on that. That might be newer code? So I think the problem was I had to turn off layer toggling. Well, actually, I can see this not at arc ages. So I might be able to go back to some of these for testing purposes. I don't suppose I can do a checkout from here. No. I can keep those tags around. Get checkout. So I think this. Yeah, that's my current. 6.5 3F1. Okay, so we're up here. Thing that changed here that broke my ability to test this, I think, was taking out my base layer by time here. And that was causing me trouble somewhere, but I think it was mainly with arc layer stuff. No, that was not. Update tiles in. Oh, I already had map lock sprite? Okay. And that's the one that changed. I didn't like. Yeah, that's it. All right, we're still at a good time. Yeah. The situation is there is some flicker in the DOM that's causing the slider to get 0 width for a moment, but that only started happening recently. And it's causing a total reset. Okay, so this is actually good here. So we want 5e60. Load file. Which one were you? Okay, these are the points, which should be the thing that is triggering most of this right now. Okay, so we didn't have some of our immediate map updates there. Is this a range issue? No, it's not a range issue. You're not triggering the update. We do need this one. Oh. Okay, so it was here, and it was not in the previous one. So that basically says this is where something broke down. I might need to go confirm that. Because I played around with this already, saying, well, if we added and removed it, maybe that wouldn't be good for things. But I took out the code that actually added and removed things. And set up some console log tracking, and I didn't see any poor behavior. So that with map updates causes us issues. I just need to reconfirm this now. Also, is this fully testable here? Well, it didn't seem to be that close to the boundary there. That's just instantly broken. When the previous one was good. But to see that changing, uncommitted changes. So these were set up to add and remove only in certain conditions. That involves a player stop. Base layer change, overlay add, overlay remove. I mean, that's the only things that changed here. But I thought I had eliminated that as a thing. Right. I still had this commented out here. All right, so what if you just return? I kind of need both of these. Are we set up for it? To be able to make sure things are formatted properly. All right, I want the map to think it's in animated mode. Okay. Maybe the add control causes some relayout, but this is what I was testing earlier. And it didn't seem to, or maybe it was still causing the problem, so it was just add control. Okay, so unnecessary add controls. I think I checked leaflet for layers. And it was a no-op if it was already on. Well, it's causing the control add to, which container, well, it's triggering the on add. Oh, it's triggering its own remove. So this does not do an already on map check. Do they give you a means for that? That would either be a control thing or a map thing. Add control, remove control, has layer. There is no has control. What does handler add class with control, insert before, append child. So there's not like a controls list. If not map, return this, remove this dot container. On remove, this dot map equals null. So it looks like the easiest way to tell if a control is in the map is to check the map property. Which you could maybe imagine having a little helper method for. Okay. So we want a conservative add and remove control. Do I do any other control shenanigans? Those are more strictly used, so that shouldn't be as big of a deal. So it's really only for this. Remove control if control.map equals map. Probably could have like macroed this or something. Oh, I guess I left it at the wrong moment. I actually need to be here. Okay, yeah, we were adding and removing it, and it handled that amazingly well. But it momentarily got offset with 0, and everything got all confused. As we're also playing here. Okay, what do we... This is where I want kind of an incremental commit here. Now, we also had a bunch of stuff that was just straight up debugging. So this is the one place where the GUI comes in handy. See, that's a console log. that is that hunk. Actually, there's no option just to remove that. Base layer by time. So that was the other thing I was working on. And that seems to have pulled in the stuff below it. Alright, so some of this stuff we're going to have to clean up manually, I think. What is it? Staged? Oh yeah, and then I think those things I just kind of left there. Let's see. Conservative, control, add, remove. Leaflet removes and adds to DOM if you just call. Okay. So I think I was looking for things that sort of disturbed the time control here. These might be useful later. And again, they're probably also easy to put back and build up a lot of console logs. So arc range by time is new. And I was trying to figure out what was going on when I ran into this other problem. So we need to. I think this seems to be okay now. At least initially. Our reset times got turned on, which is now up here. Set available time, set current time. Okay, so that's more concise. Yeah, those both need to happen at once. That's good. Arc range by time, arc range by time. Double check that things seem to be behaving themselves here. So if we could go browse an arc, if we open it up, so I still got an extra debug statement somewhere. So that's the set map time, probably had its debugging turned on. Which might actually be base layer by time? Yeah. That seemed like we were looking at that. And then we changed. So what's going on there? That was the most recent arc? No. No, that... We have a time overlap problem? It's not really updating the time control at all, is it? Oh, you know what? I don't know if I really scrubbed in time mode before. Nope, that had a reset. That is definitely a different animal. What do we need there? So this is doing set current time. I'm pretty sure. Oh, and jumped to most recent again. I think I took out the arc range set on that. So we probably never reset. Yeah, this is 729. This is 825. So if I toggle animated, animate on static. So there's anim overlay. Only place we call that. Oh, that's within E. That's within a given layer. And this is kind of the conflict we have, where I think I need to redo some stuff. And that bug kind of distracted us from confronting that problem head on. When do we use what kind of time range here? So if I just select one of these, I'm probably going to want to be looking at the history of this. If I'm looking at some similar time and we get data for it, I'm going to be looking at that. Which that much seems to be working okay-ish. So I'm probably going to have to look at whether I am in data overlay mode. So we go into animation mode. Where would that have happened before? Well, anywhere we set map time, we would have set the range. So definitely not there, definitely not there. Definitely not set data layer. For initialization, fine. Possibly current time. That sets current time, doesn't set the range. Arc list is still kind of bootstrap stuff. Oops. Was that supposed to be a set current time? Oh, focus always sets current time. I guess was it supposed to be a range? You could have picked an old life, but you could also have the data view open. Arc range by time. Update tiles is a definite no. Current time is probably the one that's conditional. And we want to know if I should probably, one of the things I think I need to do is kind of move some of this stuff into state. Right now, I don't really have any other concept besides map.hasLayer. Don't I have like data overlay? Yeah. If actually, yes, it is not. So if we pick some time in the past, pop this up. This might have been a very short arc. Oh no, because this is history. That didn't change the map. And if we go to some recent data, so I think this is, yeah, this still starts outside the rift. Yeah, and we're changing things. We can go outside and things don't blow up. Okay, so that is separating setting time range to arc from setting base layers. And this should actually be fixing that. So I'm not able to get to any of this stuff. And I didn't even really get the time modeling I wanted. Yeah. Well, that might be less of a pain than some of their stuff. Okay, I keep like patching it up with just events switching things. This is actually a really tiny one that's easy to throw on. Current time notice. What? Where are you? Update. Show time notice. Where do I turn you off? Time notice duration. There we go. And I've been feeling, oh, you might actually be in view because you also have to animate with it. I've been feeling like in typical scenarios, the loading disturbs that so much that you barely have a chance to see it. And that's getting most of the densest times too. Well, now I actually have to contend with the Elm compiler. I mean, these are minor updates, but you do have to be aware that there's delay and... Oh, I might need to do maybe a nonlinear curve. Yeah, I might want either a curve or do full effect for some amount of the time. Okay, so we have a time until. We have the amount to that and a time difference. So can we do... Did it actually make it go longer? Well, there's an easy way to test that theory. I expected a bigger effect, but that definitely felt bigger than before. Well. Oh, nope. Okay, so it's not liking my division here. More parentheses! We can't get enough parentheses. This is also turning into an ugly, ugly expression. So right now, we've got you, doop, 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 minus. Divided by. So Elm style is more to do something like this. I mean, it's not necessarily with math, but that is how they tend to do these sort of grouped things. Really? Divide by 2 is doing an implicit conversion to float. Okay, that's an interesting trick to do that. And to verify what am I feeling about that. Oh, right. So this is actually, it's interpreting the alpha parameter in sort of the way I want. I mean, I should probably do a min-max on it. Oh, okay. Well, that was a little bit different. Right, because it's probably getting such a little sliver of fade time at the end. Because I don't need the extra parenthesis now. Oh, may have not compiled. And then maybe we can change the timeout once we got this working. So, we want... I probably could use this third of the parentheses. Well, no, not really. Okay. Is it okay with that? Oh, these aren't balanced now. So what we're saying is here we lost one. Shoot, what was it in here? I'm thinking of JavaScript. Oh, just min-max. Right. All right, so that will just solidify that it's 1. Maybe this is actually supposed to be min 0? Or, no. I always get these backwards. It's probably minimum 1. You want to set the minimum, but you have to use, or set the maximum, you have to use the minimum operator to do it. Or maybe it's max 0. Zero alpha blend. Maybe that's too long now? And that does give you a little bit more time with solid, just for having that differentiation. Well, I'll go with that for now and see how I feel about it. More visible current time. All right, so still in working the time model, but we're getting like multiple resets a day right now. So I may have to, depending on how often that's going on, I may have to do something for incremental data builds. Just to make it a little less trouble to keep up with that until I can really sit down and work on having some other computer doing automated tasks to process those. But that's about all I have time for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Jinta for bringing friends and everybody else who hosted me. Let's see, do I have anything to recommend? This is about when I tend to be on. Wednesdays are getting taken out for the time being, so that's going to be rolling off of the automated schedule there. Well, I see some Android app dev. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, Digital Tectonics is working on Eve Mining Timer. I guess that's around the Eve game, so a helper app. But yeah, if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.